Hello learners, welcome to today's session. In this session, I'll be discussing with you about the broad outline and will provide you the introduction of this course MSD 017 Challenges to Sustainable Development. Learners, you must know that this course is a part of the Postgraduate Diploma in Sustainability Science, that is PGDSS program. The course is of 4 credits. You must be anxious to know what this course is all about and what all you will be learning in this course. You know, learners, sustainable development has been the talk of the town. We are talking about the introduction of sustainability and our objectives towards meeting sustainable development at every platform. You must have also heard about the various facets of sustainable development, whether it is sustainable agriculture, sustainable business, green economy, all this in some way or the other relate to sustainable development. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which are proposed to be met by 2030, are one of the objectives which will lead us towards the path of sustainability and address all the global challenges which we are facing today. You know that the Earth today, the planet Earth, is facing several environmental problems. And the world is facing insurmountable challenges in the field of human health, rising inequalities in the society, also the issues related to gender, environmental pollution, climate change, diversity of the people, and also issues like urbanization, migration, inequalities. All these need sustainable solutions. It is not possible to look at these issues from only one perspective and try to solve and try to address with the help of single approach. We need to have a holistic approach and also understanding of these various issues which are interrelated and also affect each other on a very large scale. So in this course, you will be knowing about all these things, and first of all, you will be oriented towards what are the challenges. Because the world is facing several problems on account of the change in environment, because of agricultural diversification which is taking place, and so many things which are happening. There are challenges. So in this course, you will be oriented towards those challenges. You will learn about what are the various challenges of sustainable development, and it will also provide you an opportunity to look at these challenges and try your own methods, and also the solutions which can be proposed by way of our actions, our policies, our planning. We can address these challenges and move ahead towards the path of sustainability and achieve sustainable development goals. So learners, I must tell you that in all there are 4 blocks in this course. You know, each block contains several units. A unit is a chapter according to our terminology. So block 1 is about climate change. Block 2 discusses global environmental issues. Block 3 is about health, nutrition and environment, and block 4 is about threats. In all these blocks, there are certain units. In each unit, there are examples, case studies given, and the study material will be made available to you, and also learners, you will be glad to listen to the experts of various fields who will be talking and discussing about these issues at length. It will be interesting to listen to the experts who have a great expertise in these fields, and also they have a vision path towards sustainable development, and they have their own solutions to all these issues which we are facing. So learners, now let us look at these blocks. What does each block contain, and what are the different units that we will be talking and discussing in these different blocks. Block 1, as I said, is about climate change. Learners, climate change is not a thing of the future now. It is already there. There should be no state of denial for the climate change related issues which the planet Earth is facing today. One of the most important challenges towards meeting the goals of sustainable development is climate change, which is happening less because of natural forces but more because of the anthropogenic disturbances which have occurred since the last several decades. In this, there are 4 units. Unit 1 will discuss about climate change and will provide you an understanding behind the science of climate change. It presents an overview of the climate change, why does it occur, how does it occur, and what are the forces which act to reach to that stage where increasing temperatures lead to climate change phenomena. Then Unit 2 discusses about the climate change and the impact on natural resources. Because of the changing climate, fluctuations in temperatures, variations in the rainfall, and other meteorological changes which have occurred, there is an impact on the natural resources, be it forests, grasslands, ponds, the ecosystems, and also our energy resources. How does it affect? Are our actions leading to climate change? And on account of climate change, what is happening to our natural resources? Water is a scarce commodity. Land is a scarce resource. Minerals are diminishing. Is climate change leading to all this? What is future? What does future hold for us? All these things will be discussed in this unit. Then we have a separate unit on human dimension of climate change. We as a part of the society. Because climate change is not only related to the environmental changes which have taken place, but also has economy and social aspect related to it. In this unit, we will be discussing about what are the human dimensions, how our society, our migration patterns, our urbanization, our way of living, our livelihoods, the status of women in the society, how it is impacted by the climate change. It will be very interesting for you learners to see and to relate that how you as an individual is affected by climate change in a major way, whether you realize it or not. And last unit of this block is about adaptation and mitigation. How do we adapt? What changes are required in our agriculture? How do we plan our cities? How do we divert our natural resources? How do we satisfy our needs in the wake up of climate change which is already occurring? And what can be the mitigation measures? How can the change in fossil fuel consumption help? How does our place of living, how does our lifestyle, how does it all contribute towards mitigating the effects of the climate change? So learners, in this block, we will be talking and the experts will be there who will be discussing about the various facets of climate change, I must say. Not just about discussing the CO2 levels in the atmosphere and the melting glaciers, but how does it affect the fishermen? How does it affect the education of the girl child? Very interesting interlinkages and very interesting derivations which we can arrive, and you will see that how this is one of the biggest challenge towards sustainable development. Block 2 is about the global environmental issues. There are regional issues, there are national issues, but then there are global environmental issues. which are facing the humanity, which we have to address, because all nations of the world are facing them in some form or the other, directly or indirectly. So in this block, the experts will be discussing about these issues. They will give you the examples, they will deliver the lectures on various topics, and you will see that what are the main issues which we are facing today. In this context, the unit 1 is about overpopulation and resource depletion. Why does it all occurring? Why we are facing all these problems? Because it has been cited that the rate by which the population is growing in the rural as well as the urban areas, in the developed countries, in the developing countries, it is one of the biggest threat. What does it do? Increase in the number of the individuals who live at a certain place, have a footprint. They consume the resources, and the resources are not increasing in number as the population is increasing. That is already in the declining phase. We will be facing water shortages. Land is already scarce. We are facing dearth of minerals, fossil fuels. So how do we meet the needs of the present population? How does we see that the affluence which the human population is having today, the consumption patterns, how does it impact the environment and particularly the resource depletion, and what are the measures? What is the way out? How do we can, how we can see that human beings are not termed as a problem, but how we can contribute by becoming like a resource. So in this unit, we will be discussing about the causes of population growth, how does it impact the environment, and what measures can be taken to slow down the population, and how resource conservation can play an important role in this. Another important crisis is that of energy. Mostly we are dependent upon the energy sources which are scarce, which are non-renewable. The fossil fuels like coal, oil, natural gas, they form the major share of the energy which we are using in our industries, agriculture, homes, everywhere for transportation. But there is a crisis of energy because we need more energy than what we are creating it, and most of the energy sources are polluting. They are already in the decline stage. We do not have for future generations, and because of this energy crisis, there is always associated some or the other kind of environmental problem, particularly pollution. And it is how in the block 1 we can see that how this is related to climate change also. So all the types of the energy and what are the advantages and disadvantages of the conventional and the non-conventional forms of energy, all this we will be discussing at length in this unit. Then unit 3 is about urbanization. It is believed that by 2040 around 70% of the population will be urban. People moving to cities in search of employment, for better opportunities, for better medical care. But how our infrastructure is designed in the cities? Will it cater to the population which is going to come to these areas? It is already struggling for space, for other resources which are deficient in the urban areas. It is one of the major challenge towards sustainable development in the long run, because at the rate by which the urbanization is happening today, it is creating inequalities in the society. It is also manifesting in the form of poverty, hunger, because the people who migrate to the urban areas are not always given or are not always so lucky to utilize all these resources which are available, and they fall in the trap of poverty, which is a vicious circle. Unit 4 in this block is about pollution and waste generation. Environmental pollution is becoming one of the most important critical issue which we are facing, be it the pollution of air, water, marine, soil, and the list is very long. What are the factors responsible for environmental pollution? From where are these chemicals coming? From where are these toxic and the hazardous substances entering into our ecosystems? And how does it affect the environment and also human health? So all the types of the pollution will be discussed in this unit. And then waste generation. The alarming increase in the waste products which we are generating at our industries, commercial areas, residential areas, and so on. The use of plastics. How does it deteriorate the condition of the environment? What is electronic waste? What is biomedical waste? So learners, there is lot of interesting things which you will learn in this block, because these are the global environmental issues, and when you look around, you will be able to relate yourself. You will be able to see that yes, this problem is mine, it belongs to my region, it belongs to my country, and therefore you will be inclined towards finding some optimal solutions for these problems. So in all, the block is very interesting and it gives you an understanding about the various and global environmental problems which the planet Earth and humanity is facing. Block 3 is about health, nutrition and environment. Human health is a priority now. So in this block, we will be discussing about the various facets of human health, the determinants of human health, environment and its relationship. So unit 1 is about environment and health. How does good environment contributes to good health of human beings, and how does polluted environment, contaminated environment leads to poor human health? So we will be talking about the various forms of environmental pollution and other forms of degradation, and how do they affect the health of the human beings living in the rural areas, the urban areas, particularly how children are affected, how women are affected, how elderly population is affected. So a kind of a linkages between environment and the quality of life will be discussed in this unit. Unit 2 talks about health and sanitation. Our importance of goods and availability of fresh water, because it is also becoming scarce. How does it contribute towards improving the sanitation conditions at any given place? So how important it is to remain healthy by practicing proper health, hygiene and sanitation measures. So in this, what are the different types of diseases which occur in polluted environments, polluted water? What are the communicable diseases? What are non-communicable diseases? How do they occur? What are the symptoms? All these issues, because you know how things have changed in the context of human health, and how dreaded we are that we will be facing some or the other kind of the diseases happening because of climate change and pollution and reduced immunity of ours. So it is very important, learners, for you to understand that how health and sanitation are a challenge to sustainable development. So it's a challenge because if we are not healthy, we cannot strive towards meeting the objectives of SDG 2030. Think about it. This is something which is very, very important and central to our lives. Unit 3 is about health hazards. There are environmental hazards being faced by the people who live in the coastal areas, who live in the hilly areas, who live in the urban areas, because we are susceptible to different types of pollutants entering into our body through different modes. We live in the urban areas, so we are prone to different types of pollution related issues happening to us. And again, if we are living near a polluted site, if we are living near a landfill site, people who are living, populations who are residing in the polluted environment, most of the time acute and the chronic effects are being seen in such populations. And there are occupational hazards which are faced by the people on account of the occupation which they do. So there are ergonomic hazards, physiological hazards, psychological hazards, physical, chemical, different types of hazards. You will be able to listen to the experts who will be discussing about these hazards at length, and will give you certain examples so that you are able to relate yourself, you are able to think in that direction, that how you can mitigate the effect of these hazards. And unit 4 is about nutrition. One of the important aspects is nutrition, the quality of food which we are eating. The way the fast food culture has engrossed in our kitchens, and how what we are eating, it is taking a toll on our health, particularly the health of the children. So why nutrition is important, good food is important, how does it help towards maintaining our immunity, and how does it help in meeting sustainable development goals. So nutrition is an important aspect. Learners, you will be knowing about what are micronutrients, what are macronutrients. So this is very interesting for you to understand. And lastly, there is block 4, who will be discussing about the threats. Learners, there are threats of various kinds which we are facing, particularly for sustainable development. So unit 1 is about land degradation. As I said, land is a scarce resource. It is a base of other resources like forest, water, energy, and so on. It is getting degraded because of natural as well as man-made causes. In unit 2, you will be studying about desertification. What is the process of desertification? How does it occur? What are the causes? And how we can reclaim the degraded lands. Unit 3 is about disasters. A part of it will also be discussing under climate change, where we discuss extreme weather events, but also it is important for you to know about the various natural and man-made disasters which have increased in the frequency, and the extent of damage has been more because of the climate change and other anthropogenic disturbances. And unit 4 is about biopiracy. How do we make use of the knowledge of the indigenous people for our own benefits? So how the species alteration takes place, and how the genetic pool is disturbed, and how does it in the long run is not good for the health of the ecosystems and biodiversity. So in all, in this block we will be discussing about the various threats that we are facing today. So as of now, what you can see in the 4 blocks, I have given you an introduction. There will be video lectures. You will be listening to the videos by the experts. Also the study material will be there, which you can read, which you can go through. We will be discussing, we will be talking about individual topics separately. And learners, there are n number of platforms, where you can interact, share your views, and also discuss among yourself about these important pertinent topics. So with this, I thank you for enrolling in this course, which is an important one, which is very essential, because we must know what are the challenges which we are facing today. So in this blog, I have given you an introduction about the course. What does the course contain? We will be meeting time and again. We will be discussing about these issues. And lastly, I congratulate you that you have taken the right step. As you enroll in this course, you have taken the right step where you can help the humanity to tread towards the path of sustainability and achieve sustainable development. Thank you so much.